Yeah.
Because maybe that was going on and all that, like the samurais and all that kind of stuff was going on. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know, you think you know stuff about certain culture and you realize there's so much of it that's just never exposed because we only have this narrow view of things. And it's like the Asian culture for Americans is always the same shit. It's like I said, ninjas, samurais,
Kung Fu masters.
Yeah.
You know, that's like when I was a kid, my only exposure to anything Asian was Black Belt Theater on Saturday mornings with you know, after the cartoons.
Yeah.
And I would love that shit. The 5 Deadly Venoms.
Oh, 5 Deadly Venoms.
Venoms was the shit. The Toad and the fucking Scorpion. And I loved all that shit, dude. But that was it.
Yeah, because it's like, and also imagine growing up in like suburbs. I'm Asian, right? And all the kids are watching that kind of stuff, right? And it's like, and I'm like, you know, listening to like punk rock. Right?
Yeah.
And doing my thing, right? It has nothing to do with who I am. And so, but then when you go out in the world, you know, your white friend will come and go, hey, hiya, buddy, gotcha. I was watching, you know, that shit Sunday, man. You know, buddy. What you doing? You know what I mean? And they'll come up to you and do that stuff, and you're like, whoa, dude, that fucking hurt. Don't do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing, right? Or it's like, you know, you walk into a classroom, and your other friend will go, hey, everybody, watch Bobby's coming here, right? You walk in, they go, gong. Right, and they'll all go, na 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 na.
Right,
and they laugh, and I have a mohawk. You know what I mean?
You're listening to the class.
Yeah, I'm the class. Yeah, I'm a Susie in the Bash shirt.
I know you got
a
pocket full of meth.
Yeah. I'm going. You know what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
and like you live in this world.
Here's my question for you, Bobby. So up until recently, like making fun of Asian people was kind of like it wasn't looked at the same as how you would make fun of anyone else. Like it was kind of like the easy one, and because it was like non-threatening in a way. It was like, you know, and then you kind of think the idea is like Asians are doing okay. They got their own towns and shit right here in you know, so it's okay to be like, you know, Asians got a little dick or Asian this and Asian that. But I feel like there's been a real big culture shift now that it's like. It's on the same level now as making a black joke or making a, you know what I mean? Making a Jewish joke.
I think a lot of the younger generation just isn't putting up with it anymore. Like, isn't that what it is? Like,
you know, and I'm about to bring up a topic that's a little uncomfortable, but I have to bring it up. Is, you know, I've been struggling with what happened to Tony. Hinchcliffe. Have we talked about? I don't think we've talked.
I've never addressed it yet.
And I've been literally struggling with it because on one hand, I understand what he was doing. Did you see the video?
Yes. And did you see the whole video? Did you get the full context of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have my opinion on it myself too.
Yeah. My opinion is, you know, I saw a comic, a friend of mine, a male comic who's straight, bring up a gay guy on stage the other night. And go, one more time for the
F word.
The F word. Yeah. Right? And they both laughed, right? And then the gay comic will say something about the straight comic, you know what I mean? Yeah, that guy sucks dick. Or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
They had a rapport.
They have a rapport, right? And there's a culture there. It's like, you know, I've done it, like, I used to have Doc Willis open for me sometimes. And I would say something like, Gary Coleman, you thought he was dead, but he's not, you know what I mean? Whatever. And then he says something back, and it's just a part of, like, that thing, and I think that with what Tony went through, right? There's a lot of that in there, right?
Because they know each other.
They know each other.
But it was presented as if he was some random Asian comic,
random Asian guy
that he didn't even know,
right?
And he just did that. No, and that's what I took offense to that.
Yeah. Well, you took offense to what?
I took offense to how that was blown out of proportion against Tony.
Yeah.
Now, you know, in this culture. It's like, all right, do you really think that was the way to do that? But even still, that's his style. The roast battle, the kill Tony, the stuff that happens during that thing, that guy is a part of that. And the guy was doing hacky-ass jokes about white people before that. That was the context of why he was what he was saying.
And that's why it got the laugh that it did.
That's why people laughed.
Right. I struggle with it.
I get it, though.
I struggle with it because I also am like, you know, I'm very pro-Asian. And I also grew up in comedy where I was bullied a lot in terms of, in the 90s, I was the only one at the clubs, right? So I would get a lot of like white, is this not interesting to you?
No, it's super interesting.
Oh, yeah. You were drifting apart. Thank you.
Can I get a Kleenex while we're in this little
He's
break?
got booger. So I was like, in the 90s, I was, you know, you would have
No, bitch. I got
allergies.
Yeah.
You would
I have a Benadryl if you want.
You would have comics say to your face, "Yo, man, Asians aren't funny. Get out of here," or whatever, right? You had that kind of sentiment, right? And it's like, so you know, I'm the type of guy that like when that happens, I don't give up. I go, I'll show you. You'll get it. You'll see. You know. So you know, I get both sides, but I think in Tony's case, it was more of a comedy thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a culture and I get when people that aren't in comedy see just certain clips of that where it could look like real. And at first, I didn't see the full thing. I just saw one little. I didn't know there
looked bad.
So I was mad. Bro.
Yeah,
I was livid. But now that I've like kind of explored it and understood it, right? I go, you know what? I'm giving Tony.
Well, it's layered, man.
It's layered.
It's layered because there's just many different points in here. One, that shouldn't have been recorded and released. Okay, so that was some clout chasing bullshit right there.
Yeah.
Did he have someone in the crowd do that?
Yes.
He had his friend.
Okay, so that's the number one. The fact that it was released. But when if we're having a conversation, like even some of the stuff we were talking about before we were on air for this, if that somehow got released, we know we don't mean bad, but we would have to apologize for when things get out, it gets out. So you have to apologize for that because of how it makes people